Good morning and welcome everyone. On behalf of the Europe in Action project, which is an Erasmus Plus project, what we are running since 2 years now, so it's the 30th now. And welcome at the Sport Campus, Zuiderpark in The Hague. In our project group we have partners and they are here as well, so hopefully you can meet each other. It's partners from Slovenia, Poland, Portugal, Turkey and from Tavisa, an international organization.
And today we focus on the subject of active cities. And that is one of the 13 themes we have selected together as important themes for the Sport for All movement. And more people live in urban areas. Today we will learn how many. And do we ensure that public space continues to be sufficiently inviting for sport and for exercise?
Today we are looking at the questions related with active development and active regional development that Michael will speak a little bit after under the perspective of the European Commission and what is going on at that level. We have of course to take a look on the several 5 or 6 dimensions that we want to, let's say, put it here to reflection to all of you. We need to include the 3 setting or segments of the population when identifying the questions about knowledge and awareness. We need to put inside the leaders and the decision makers. We need to engage citizens. Sometimes or most of the times we don't engage citizens. We are thinking that what we are developing for them, it's the best Coca-Cola in the desert, but they don't know that it's the best Coca-Cola in the desert, so they don't care. And then the strategy fails. So of course citizens, and then we need to improve the capacity of sport organizations and the local stakeholders, which sometimes are working in their own microcosmos, but they are not linking with the older strategy and they are missing the way and the way to go forward.
Are there any questions in the room?
If your debts are up to here, or if you have problems raising your children, you don't think, oh, I'll go for a jog because the weather is so nice.
The situation that we are facing for the next years in terms of crisis at European level, it's not in a sense that we are going to have more salaries, more time free and more available opportunities to be active. So I think that the sports sector itself still don't understand at the moment the huge impact that this system and this situation is going to have.
We all have fun when we doing sports, and of course it gives you energy, it gives you health, and therefore I think sport is the most powerful means to address the intrinsic value to connect and motivate residents of The Hague in many ways. The title, European Capital of Sport, is for us a crown on our sports policy. In 2022 we will show that sport is a powerful instrument for a more vital The Hague. Over the past years The Hague has successfully hosted leading international events such as the World Hockey Championship, the World Championships of Beach Volleyball. We have every year the City Pier City running competition. We had also a motorsport event, the Red Bull Knockout, and we had 3 years ago the finish of the Volvo Ocean Race. The city has set a new standard because during these events we aim to include different parties, for example by organizing recreational sports side events or organize activities like clinics for youth, and by making connections with other fields such as culture, health or the economy.
So the active development is really about integrating physical activity and sport in your regional development and in your local development, and making sure that it is on the top of minds of local and regional policymakers, and that they think of sport and physical activity, especially the ones who are not already in sport and physical activity. And that is a challenge, without any doubt.
We developed the city around the car, and
Well, it was very lovely. If you wanted to come by car to the city and you wanted to reach the city center very efficiently, you could, and you still can. But we discovered that we had little space for pedestrians, for cyclists. Even though all of the people in the Netherlands love to cycle a lot, in Rotterdam they did not cycle so very much. They did not walk so very much because, well, the cars, they are always there. Lex Burdorff, he researched the influence of socioeconomic factors, environment, air quality and behavior on health and life expectancy. And Lex, he discovered that on average the inhabitants of Rotterdam live 1.5 years shorter than Dutch inhabitants. And when he plotted it on this map, and this is why I show you this map, he discovered that in the far northeast, if you live there, you have a life expectancy of over 8 years compared to someone who lives at Maashaven station. This really was a shock for a lot of people and a lot of policy makers. So we decided we had to change something in the city. In this plan, sport and exercise got quite a good place, which was a winning point for us from the sports department, because normally we would be talking. We would be telling them, we are the believers, we would be telling how important sports and exercise is for a good health. And in this plan, it was a little bit way around. We were invited to participate in making this plan, and we were invited to share our knowledge and to help get the plan right to reach the people and to make them healthier, but also happier. We work on Sport for All, we've got programs for that. We work on programs for elite sports, to get talents, to find them, to educate them, to develop them, to give them a podium with the nice sports events that we have. We work on the right facilities, both the formal facilities like sports halls and the informal facilities on the streets. And fourth, we work on the impact of sports. Are we already a global active city? We are on the way to discover that. We want to learn and develop, because we see that we need to work more cross-sectoral. This is the main thing that when we discussed what should be new in our new sports policy, it was always the cross-sectoral cooperation that was the problem, with not really increasing sports participation. So we thought that maybe if we have a focal point and a common ambition to work with our partners in the city to become a global active city, to get that label supported by TAFISA and the IOC, that we could have partners enthusiastic to work with us and to cooperate more. And this is a thought that we have. And we think that maybe when we start cooperating with the other global active cities, then we can learn from them, so we can implement the lessons that we learn into our own sports policy, because we are not perfect, the city is not perfect, and we can always be better. So we are open to learn.
So in summary, physical activity is influenced by the activity friendliness of the environment. But it's very complex. You really have to look at the type of activity, the subgroup. So if you want to increase physical activity, you have to take that into account. If you do it right or not at all, because if you only change the hardware and not the perception, not the orgware, not the software, the effects will be small or just temporarily. I think technology can be of added value. It's quite new, so there's not a lot of research yet, but we see, for example, also with the interactive play equipment, that the intensity level is high enough to reach the guideline, for example, but you have to do it for a certain period of time.
So after this seminar, we come to the conclusion that sport can give an important benefit and can have a huge role in the different dimensions that we are trying to achieve in order to promote active development of the cities. So what is the focus of the people that are working with this issue is basically try to look up what are the main issues that we can develop using sport as a mean and as a tool.
What we intend to do with Erasmus Plus is bring together different cities who are working on that active city concept, and make them share also the different elements, plus that you bring together in partnership Tafisa, a number of cities, a number of organizations who are really working also on the grassroots sports level. And that is exactly one of the aims that we have with Erasmus Plus, so that we can bring together all these European players and that they can help also in supporting the sport developments at the European and regional and local level.